Hi everyone, good afternoon. I am Jan Christian Orsabia, 19 years old, studied at Hingog City Colleges with a course of Bachelor of Science in Criminology, second year Block A. I am here to discuss 10 lessons of our subject ethics as a final examination. And there are 10 lessons that we tackled this afternoon. The Lawrence-Kohlberg theory, stages of moral development, moral dilemma, cultural relativism, freedom, moral versus non-moral standards, etiquette, policy, law and commandment, morality, culture, and the Filipino. First is a moral dilemma. Moral dilemma, it is a situation in which a difficult choice has to be made between two or more alternatives, especially this two is equal. You have two or more actions you can possibly do, but you cannot do all this. You only need to choose one. And they have three levels of moral dilemma: the personal moral dilemma, organizational dilemma, and structural moral dilemma. So what are these three levels? We discuss it individually. First is a personal moral dilemma. This is when your decision in a situation have a moral conflict, is the cause of your own, of another person, or a group of people potential harm. Next is the organizational dilemma, in which a member of the organization is in a moral conflict, and a decision will potentially harm either some member of the group or the entire organization itself. Lastly, the structural moral dilemma is when a person or a group of persons who holds a higher position in the society faces a moral conflict in a situation where the entire social system is affected. Example of them are the president, mayor, and the senator. Their decision will be affect all the country. The next topic is freedom. Freedom. It is a foundation of moral acts. You can do whatever you want unless you are not violated any law. For the law has a punishment for those who violate it. You can choose what is right from wrong and choose best action that cannot offend other people. For freedom, it is one of the inborn properties of the human person, and freedom is absolute. Next is the moral standard versus non-moral standard. First, we define the moral standards. When we say moral standards, it is a code of what is right from wrong without referring to other people, and you follow your own behavior that is good to the other people and gain benefit. On the other hand, non-moral standards is an opposite to the moral standard. When we identify the moral standards of a person, the opposite of it will be the non-moral standard. They are contradict to each other, or they are opposite. The next is cultural relativism. According to Rizels, cultural relativism has two positive lessons can learn. First, it warns us from assuming that our preferences are the absolute rational standard. And the second is, it teaches us to keep an open mind and to more amenable in discovering the truth. Cultural relativism makes us understand that we think as truth may actually be just the result of cultural conditioning. This implies that to decide whether your action is right or wrong, all you need to do is check whether your action is in accordance with the standards of your society. If your action is in line with your culture, you have done nothing wrong, even though your action is harmful. Next is the Filipino way, qualities of the Filipino moral identity. The Filipino is a mix of both Western and Eastern culture. The beliefs and traditions of pre-colonial Philippines was mainly indigenous Malay heritage. Our culture was influenced by the natives and also the Eastern and Western country. Our language in the Philippines today was primarily manifest by the English language from the America. The Filipino way has more family orientation than other countries. The next is the stages of moral development. The stages of moral development has three levels, and each levels has two stages. Therefore, they have all 6 stages. First, the level of pre-conventional morality. In this level is solely focused on the self. They are still child, having no concept about society's convention of what is right and wrong. In this level, they have 2 stages: the punishment obedient orientation and the reward orientation. So first, the first stage, the punishment obedience orientation. So what is punishment obedient orientation? It also called pre-moral stage, where decisions and actions are determined by the immediate physical consequences of its actions. The second stage is a reward orientation. This is where the child will do good things because their parent will give a reward when he or she did something good. Like for example, if a children will get a good grades, then his mom will buy a new smartphone. Then the children will better to do his homework. Next is the second level, which is conventional morality. In this level, the decision and morality of his or her decision is based on the view and expectation of the society. The child will do good things as what are the expectation of their society. In this second level, which is conventional morality, has two stages, which is good boy and good girl orientation and authority orientation. First, we define the stage 3, which is the good boy and good girl orientation. This stage, the child tries to seek approval from the other people living up their expectation. The child also now understand the concept of loyalty, trust, and gratitude, as well as become interested in motives and intentions behind a particular decisions or actions. Next is the stage 4, which is authority orientation. At this stage, individual reach adulthood and consider society as a whole when making judgments. They focus on following rules, maintaining law and order, doing one's duty, and respecting authority. Lastly is the level 3, which is post-conventional. It also called as the principal level. In this level, individual own perspective is more significant over that the rest of the society thinks. And this would sometimes lead to disobeying law to follow personal principles. The rules and laws only serve as a guide, needs to be weighed against personal principle and belief. Uphold one's human right. This level has two stages, the social contract orientation and ethical. First, we define the social contract orientation. This stage means that individual is aware that much of what is considered to be moral or good is mainly based on personal beliefs as well as on the social group they belong to, and that only a very few of the known fundamental values actually universal. Next is the ethical. In this stage, individual already has a principled conscience and will follow universal ethical principles regardless of what the laws or rules say. Next is the Lawrence-Kohlberg theory. This theory focuses on the moral development of children, particularly on how they develop a sense of what is right and wrong, as well as justice. He observed that children move through what he believed as definite stages of moral development, as we discussed earlier. The next is morality. It is a system of belief about what is right behavior or wrong behavior. It deals with how a person relates with others and with the world to promote what is good. The next is etiquette, policy, law, and commandment. The first is the etiquette. It is a set of rules of how individuals should responsibly behave in the society. Example are the table manners such as the proper use of utensils and the proper manner of eating. Second is the policy. It is a clear and simple statement of how an organization plans to handle its services, action, or business. It is a guiding rules to help with decision making. The third is law. It is a rule created and enforced by the government and its agencies to maintain order, resolve disputes, and protect a person's liberty and rights. And if anyone violate the law, they will punish by the court. The fourth and the last is a commandment. It is a rule that is to be strictly observed because it is said to be set by the divine entity, such as those in the 10 Commandments in the Holy Bible. So the last is the culture. According to Durkheim, the father of sociology, culture has the power over individuals to create beliefs, such as beliefs in God. The human being learn to modify behaviors to match that which their cultural group deemed accepted and belonging to the society. And the culture has 5 elements: the symbols, language, beliefs, values, and norms. These 5 elements has present in every society. But every society has different culture. It means they have a different 5 elements. They have different symbols, different language, different beliefs, different values, and different norms. Because in every society has a different cultures.